Welcome to the series where every 100 days I showcase my account. It is part of my session on the channel, I would say. It's a dedicated playlist to my progression as an account. And at the end of the video, you can check the whole playlist for yourself if you're interested to see how the actual progression has been going. And starting off with the VIP, I'm still VIP 16 and I'm still going to be VIP 16 for quite some time, but that is okay. I am fairly content with the buffs VIP 16 provides, and I am currently in no any shape or form really pushing for another level, even though it would be nice. But any VIP I get is the byproduct being in my alliance. Next up is going to be obviously the power and the stats. So power did not really change too much. I definitely got fatter over the year, but that's because I've been having a lot of troops and a lot of T4 troops. And if I convert all the T5, I will probably be way over 100 million power, which is not ideal for me and my requirements, because with each KVK, my resource and speed up bag is getting smaller. So kill points are getting there, but I noticed they take quite some time to actually register. And that's because I use fully T4. And this time around, I do not have the abundance of speed ups like I did in the past. And I'm thinking in my next KVK to use a mix of T4 and T5, but we shall see. But as you can see, right on the topic of it, the speed ups are not great. It's going to get better once we reach the pre-KVK, KVK early stages, but for the most part, every KVK is getting a bit harder and harder to do because I do not farm. You may know this from just following me around, but every KVK I basically spend my bag. And some of you may know me from being featured on Spartan Gaming's channel as a free-to-play with no farms. I'm still doing that route, but it has its struggles, and I can definitely notice the lack of resources. But that doesn't stop me from playing the way I play, or in the worst case scenarios, making me to make farms, which I really neglect every time I try. So I just stop doing it. And we'll see how long that goes, but I'm trying to be a bit different, but basically I'm just being myself. I just don't like to have too many accounts going around because I'm the type who min-maxes, and leaving some accounts like really bad just to gather resources, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me, which may be a bit strange, but it's basically how I feel about it. As you can see, my troop distribution is mostly T4. I pretty much have more T4 than T5. I use the T5s mostly in ARC, and to reinforce rallies, garrisons in KVK, I'm mostly using infantry because I have multiple infantry marches. And I do not train siege because I don't use any type of siege march, even though I was planning to maybe. And I do not want to add more power to my kingdom than already I have from just the other type of troops. But like I said, this KVK, upcoming KVK, was still not yet registered yet, but in January we'll have full fighting. I will most likely use a mix of troops like I did in, I think, 2 years ago. But moving on, let's check my city skins real quick. The recent change where there are no negatives to city skins made my Twilight Falls actually even better because I was mostly using infantry, and because this has a -10 infantry attack before, I then went ahead to get the infantry defense just to counter that negative. But now it's all upside, and I think I'm gonna stick with skill damage still because I'm gonna use one smite march and one leadership march, which doesn't do any damage, but that might change in the near future. Copy Palace I used to use in off season, but with the inclusion of our farming or gathering skin, I've just started to use it all the time. And then maybe use the copy in KVK where I can maybe use it for chaining, just to have more AP to do so. Speaking of AP, I haven't spent a single bottle, maybe one or two for rushing Karak maybe, but like it's something I depleted every KVK as well, like my bag. So you start to notice a pattern here. I really go all in each KVK, and then in the off season I rarely spend anything, and that is the case right over here too. And that is also the case with the equipment, because I have a decent amount of materials because I haven't done anything with them, because I am waiting to refine the boots, for example, for my infantry to tier 5, which is more arch speed. For infantry, it's crucial. But moving on, we showed the items briefly. The equipment will show on the commanders, same as armaments. But in the other section, we have the sculptures. The sculptures I mentioned in my previous video. I'm still debating on who I'll invest in next, but with the commander swap coming January, which is our prime fighting month, I think I have more options than I initially expected to, and it's very comforting for me as a free-to-play, and it should be for others as well, because my current lineup, I don't think I can show it here, but maybe I can. Yeah, I can right now. Let's check. So we can check in expedition. Maybe I can show it to you. Right. So we got one Archer March, which is Zug Herman, maxed. We got Smite Infantry. We got William Wallace and Liuche. We got Skill Damage Infantry, which is Guan Scipio. We got Cavalry, Nevsky William. And we got Leadership, Trajan Molan. As you can see, it's 2 infantry, 1 archer, 1 cavalry, 1 leadership. I'm quote unquote stuck with this type of format, meaning I have, like, if I really want to transition to a second cavalry march or a second archer march, I really have to dedicate a lot of equipment, armaments, and a pairing to do so. So for the time being, especially with the arrival of Philip II, I'm thinking to really add more damage to the lineup. So the damage would be to add Ragnar instead of Guan, add in the new cavalry commander instead of William, and potentially pair the William with Philip down the line. So my leadership march will actually do some damage. My cavalry should do more damage, I think, on paper. A commander that does more damage than William is not that hard to expect. And obviously Ragnar does more damage than Guan. And with the addition of the skill damage, City Skin, which doesn't neglect infantry, my infantry should also attack better. So that's my plan for the time being when it comes to marches. It should be an exciting year ahead for me, but we're not done yet. We have equipment and armaments to work on. As you can see, my Smite infantry, I think this is my better infantry set. And as soon as I enter KVK, we're going to have tier 5 boots, same as tier 5 pants. I have the materials to get another tier of the hammer, but it's honestly expensive, and I would rather save it to have possibly 2 of these upgrades. And then the accessories down the line, Silent Trial will be replaced by Horn of Fury, but for the time being, I'm collecting so I can have more, so I can complete these 2 to tier 5, and then I'll think about accessories. So when it comes to armaments, I think this has been my most improved set, which is the arch set, and it definitely wasn't easy, but getting triple stat on all of these, especially this one, has been probably the highlights of this off season, because fighting this all damage this high, honestly, like really good for a couple days. Every time I look at it, it's been nice, like a nice dopamine rush. And the only thing left to really upgrade is this, so I can get early troop load. And I'm trying to transmute this one to hopefully get a triple stat down the line, but we'll see how long will that actually take. So far, I'm pretty content with my art set, and the pairing's really good. And it should be able to hit harder next KVK compared to the previous one. My calorie hasn't been touched, like upgraded in quite some time. I think only upgraded the boots because I had an extra print. And in terms of armaments, there's been like zero change, if I recall, because it's been solid from the start, and it continues to be solid. But down the line, I think there should be some upgrades here as well. But so far, it gets the job done. And the archers, I rocked the full dragon set with ring and horn for maximum damage. And so far, Zook Herman is doing okay, but I don't think the trade is good because it gets really targeted. It really gets focused down because the threat is there, and I understand why. And progressing here, like I do have some decent stats, but the hunter could be higher in stats. Don't get me wrong, but I think the stats are there, and descriptions are not that bad either. Like 5 inscriptions, and about 23% worth of stats. You know what? It's not that bad ever. Now the infantry, skill damage infantry, which potentially might be turning into Ragnar, hasn't been changed in a while, but I do have the 4-piece march speed set. So moving around the battlefield with this march is definitely noticeable compared to the smite one. And the damage output should be higher because I do have all infantry triple stats. But the hunter is not that great in terms of stats. But I just wanted to get the hunter out for the more damage. And the stats were my secondary priority. But this one has been the best one alongside the arch one because of the similar all damage buffs and stats. So I've been pretty lucky with armaments this offseason in terms of actual upgrades. And some rerolls have been quite good. And you can see even here, I managed to get a triple stat. So pretty happy with this. This should be even better with Ragnar Prime. So we're going to see how that works out in KVK. And last, we have the leadership, the echelon. And I have the 4-piece leadership set, and I have 2 infantry pieces special talented. Because my primary objective with this march was to field mostly infantry. But now with the arrival of Philip, this might be only one troop type leadership march down the line. It might be cavalry, and if it's cavalry, I don't have a lot of stats for cavalry. It might be infantry again, or it might be archers. But down the line, the first thing that comes to mind is cavalry, and armaments certainly do not help cavalry as much as I thought it would, because I have mostly archers and infantry. In person, I have this one. I might have to get something like Nullify to roll higher stats for cavalry, for example, which is another rare inscription. Or I can maybe get lucky with the double inscription one. Same thing here. I got a nice march speed for infantry, and some cavalry defense, and some march speed. Here is just stats. So there's a lot to work on if I'm going to make it a cavalry march, but the foundation is there, and I think I should be ahead of most people who decide to go for Philip or moving into the echelon, because I do have a reinscription. So I might work in to be full calorie as well. And among other commanders, I can safely say I have 23 legendary commanders maxed. Some are free, some are gold key commanders. Well, most of them are gold key commanders, but I think 23 is not a small number, and I will be obviously having more in the future in 2025. We should be entering KVK soon in December, so I'll be posting more videos, more live streams, and now I have an actual quality headset, so you can hear me clearly. So I'm very happy about that as well. And if you want to see my progression before this, you can click this playlist at the end of the video, which should be around soon, so you can check it out as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.